Sex, porn, love addiction is all about self-soothing to manage your emotions. It got set up back in the childhood development years. It's just not about sex. It's not about porn. It's all about the repeated use has set up the physiology to crave those dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, self-manufactured drugs in the body. It's impacting women, men, children aged 10 to 75 across all the age ranges, the sexes, the cultures, the professions. It increased exponentially during COVID lockdown and impacting so many lives. The Kairos Centre has created the first online comprehensive sex, porn, love addiction. It's a video on demand recovery program which you can access from anywhere in the world and begin to see identifiable changes just within 6 weeks of beginning this weekly program. Kairos means your appointed time. Isn't it your time to reclaim your life? Bring color back to life without shame. Click the link below and begin your journey. You owe it to yourself and to others.
All right, and this is really important. Here's one of those take-homes that I would recommend we all know about. For what we do, especially I'm trying to address the issue of what we do in this field, working with young people to help them to understand themselves in order to understand why they do what they do, but also what the other sex is doing, why they do what they're doing. At puberty, which is again about 11.5 for males, their androgen levels, which androgen is testosterone and all the other male, primarily male, although both sexes have both of these. They both have different, they just have much different levels of testosterone and estrogen and even progesterone. Males' androgen levels explode at puberty, especially from about age of about 13 to 15. Okay, that's when the big explosion comes. From 10 to 30 times more than they had pre-puberty. 10 to 30 times more. So, huge change. On the female side of it, their androgen levels, they're, primarily testosterone, but then some of the other ones that I won't name, they only double. Okay, so here's where you have the big change. Here's where you have, maybe you could have a female and a male swimmer swimming competitively, as a second graders because they're real close in their testosterone levels. You get to like 8th, 9th, 10th, into high school age. They're not even in the same universe as far as their testosterone levels. So this is a place I would want us to stop and say, this is a take-home thing. Take-home idea, take-home knowledge. A young man post the pubertal explosion is a whole different person to try to reason with on sexual issues than a young woman post-puberty, because she only has doubled her testosterone levels, and testosterone is a sex-seeking hormone. So it's a sex-seeking hormone. Estrogen is a sex-receptive hormone. Okay, so again, this is where the big difference comes in. The big sex difference really begins between the two sexes. And so in trying to socialize towards sexual integrity, which I found kind of is it's kind of the root of all the good in our society, or at least most of it. Reasoning with a female post puberty is much more probably likely to succeed than reasoning with a male, with a young man, because young men's testosterone levels, hit their highest level at 17, basically. So in our system over here, I'm not sure about you guys's, but that's about a junior in high school, and then seniors like 17 to 18. So my first take home big idea that I would advocate is our efforts at promoting sexual integrity should be skewed in the direction of the females if we want to try to make the best progress possible, because they're the ones that are going to have the ability biologically to listen better. And what the research has shown is that they do socialize in that direction much easier than these boys and young men. Absent the effects of pornography, high-speed internet pornography, which especially on the male side of things, I think dampens down the normal sex drive that they would have towards, the actual females side of things and that type of thing. But even so, the basic, and also it wouldn't take into effect the dropping testosterone rates over the years, the last 40 years or so, for different factors, and the dropping sperm counts and that type of thing because of the pollution and all the other things that we know have been going on, unfortunately, in this time period we've been living through. So discounting that is basically the situation where you end up with a supercharged sex drive on one side, the male side, and you end up with not so much of a charged sex drive, and much more dependent on their cycles on the female side of things. And we can talk further about that as we go into the next two sections, and we will. So, and yes, it is a mismatch, and I like your words, between the two sexes. I'm going to get to it, but there's like 6 times the number of young men that get addicted to pornography than the young women.